Hollywood always appeared glamorous, elegant, and picture-perfect, but behind the dazzling smiles and glamorous gowns were surprising personal habits that rarely reached the public. Over the years, countless stories, rumors, and backstage accounts have painted a very different picture of some of cinema's biggest stars. Today, we're uncovering the most shocking hygiene tales linked to legendary actresses, stories that blur the line between fact, rumor, and Hollywood folklore. Jean Harlow. Jean Harlow became one of Hollywood's first true blonde bombshells, captivating audiences with her dazzling smile and platinum hair. Yet behind the glamorous image, stories about her unusual beauty routine have circulated for decades. According to several biographies and long-standing Hollywood accounts, Harlow avoided frequent washing and preferred powders and dry treatments over traditional bathing whenever possible. One of the most famous claims suggests she occasionally used gasoline to help maintain the shine of her platinum blonde hair, a practice that sounds shocking today but was sometimes mentioned in discussions of early Hollywood beauty methods. People who worked around her reportedly noticed that she often relied heavily on perfume rather than frequent bathing. Whether every story is completely accurate remains difficult to verify, but these rumors became part of her enduring legend. Harlow's life ended tragically at just 26 years old after suffering kidney failure, leaving behind countless myths alongside her unforgettable screen legacy. Even decades later, the mystery surrounding her personal habits continues to fascinate classic Hollywood fans almost as much as her glamorous image itself. Clara Bow. Clara Bow became one of the biggest stars of the silent film era, earning the nickname, the It Girl, for her irresistible charm and magnetic screen presence. Off-camera, however, Hollywood gossip often painted a far less glamorous picture. Growing up in extreme poverty, Bow reportedly never developed the polished habits expected of movie stars, and some biographers suggest those early struggles followed her throughout adulthood. Crew members and studio insiders allegedly claimed she sometimes arrived on set with unwashed hair, wrinkled clothing, and little concern for her appearance between filming days. During periods of intense emotional stress and declining mental health, she was said to neglect basic self-care, preferring to stay isolated rather than maintain Hollywood's demanding standards of beauty. Friends later recalled that the pressures of constant fame left her emotionally exhausted, making everyday routines increasingly difficult. While many of these stories remain impossible to fully verify and may have been exaggerated by gossip magazines, they became part of Clara Bow's enduring legend. Behind the dazzling smile that captivated millions was a woman quietly battling personal struggles far removed from the glamorous image audiences adored. Frances Farmer. Frances Farmer was one of Hollywood's most talented yet controversial actresses, remembered as much for her rebellious spirit as for her remarkable performances. Throughout her career, stories circulated that she cared little for Hollywood's strict expectations of glamour and appearance. According to longtime Hollywood accounts, Farmer often dismissed beauty routines as unnecessary and reportedly ignored basic personal grooming during periods of emotional turmoil. Some colleagues claimed she would wear the same clothing for several days and showed little interest in perfume, makeup, or fashionable presentation away from the camera. As her struggles with mental health intensified, maintaining everyday self-care reportedly became even more difficult. Her repeated hospitalizations and highly publicized personal battles overshadowed her acting career, fueling countless rumors about her private life. While many of the more sensational hygiene stories have never been fully verified and were likely amplified by tabloids, they became part of the legend surrounding her troubled life. Behind the headlines was a gifted actress fighting overwhelming personal challenges, reminding us that fame often concealed struggles the public could neither see nor fully understand. Paulette Goddard. Paulette Goddard was admired for her elegance, confidence, and glamorous screen presence, especially during Hollywood's golden age. Yet behind that polished image, unusual stories about her personal hygiene circulated for decades. According to Hollywood gossip and several unofficial accounts, Goddard preferred simple beauty routines and reportedly believed that excessive bathing in harsh soaps could damage the skin's natural softness. Some crew members claimed she often relied on expensive perfumes instead of frequent showers, creating a signature scent that became the subject of backstage whispers. There were also rumors that she occasionally wore the same wardrobe pieces for several days between fittings, believing they remained perfectly acceptable. Although friends described her as stylish and sophisticated, they also noted that she disliked spending long hours on personal grooming unless cameras were rolling. Most of these claims remain impossible to verify and were likely exaggerated by Hollywood gossip columns eager for sensational headlines. Nevertheless, the stories became part of Paulette Goddard's enduring mystique, proving that even one of the era's most glamorous stars could become the subject of fascinating myths that survived long after the cameras stopped rolling. Betty Hutton. Betty Hutton was one of Paramount Pictures' brightest musical stars, celebrated for her boundless energy and unforgettable performances. Away from the spotlight, however, Hollywood gossip often painted a very different picture of her private life. According to long-standing backstage stories, Hutton disliked elaborate beauty routines and sometimes neglected personal grooming during particularly stressful periods of her career. Crew members reportedly claimed she relied heavily on baby powder and perfume instead of frequent bathing, especially while working through exhausting filming schedules. Friends also recalled that her demanding lifestyle and emotional struggles occasionally made daily self-care difficult to maintain. As financial hardships and personal setbacks overshadowed her later years, stories of her declining appearance became even more common. While many of these claims were never independently verified and may have been exaggerated by Hollywood rumor mills, they became closely tied to her public image after her career faded. Behind the vibrant personality that audiences adored was a woman facing enormous personal challenges. Betty Hutton's story serves as a reminder that even Hollywood's brightest stars often struggled with private battles hidden behind dazzling smiles and unforgettable performances. Kim Novak. Kim Novak became one of Hollywood's most recognizable blonde icons after captivating audiences in classic films like Vertigo. Behind her graceful image, however, stories about her unconventional beauty habits frequently circulated through Hollywood. According to long-standing rumors and celebrity gossip, Novak preferred natural living and reportedly avoided many commercial beauty products, including traditional deodorants. Some people who worked with her claimed she believed the body should function naturally without relying on chemical cosmetics. Others suggested she washed her hair less often than many actresses of the era, choosing to preserve its natural texture rather than expose it to frequent shampoos. These unusual habits sparked endless backstage conversations and fueled her reputation for doing things her own way. While none of these claims have been conclusively verified and many likely grew through years of Hollywood gossip, they became part of the mystery surrounding her private life. Unlike many stars who carefully protected a glamorous public image, Kim Novak was often described as independent and unconcerned with public opinion. That individuality helped shape both her unforgettable screen presence and the fascinating myths that continue to surround her decades later. Dolores Del Rio. Dolores Del Rio was admired as one of Hollywood's most elegant and sophisticated actresses, earning international fame with her timeless beauty and graceful performances. Yet behind the glamorous image, unusual stories about her personal habits quietly circulated through Hollywood for years. According to long-standing gossip and unofficial accounts, Del Rio preferred natural remedies over modern hygiene products and believed simple home treatments were better than commercial soaps and cosmetics. Some studio employees reportedly claimed she relied heavily on perfumes and citrus-based beauty rituals instead of conventional products, creating a unique fragrance that sparked endless backstage conversations. Others suggested she washed her luxurious dark hair far less frequently than many of her fellow actresses, believing it preserved its natural shine and texture. While these stories have never been fully confirmed and were likely embellished through decades of Hollywood gossip, they became part of the mystery surrounding her legendary reputation. Friends consistently described her as refined, confident, and deeply devoted to her own beauty philosophy rather than following industry trends. Whether fact or folklore, these rumors added another fascinating layer to the legacy of one of Hollywood's most unforgettable screen legends. Hollywood has always been built on illusion. The silver screen showed flawless beauty, dazzling fashion, and perfect smiles, but behind the cameras were real people with unusual routines, personal struggles, and habits that often became the subject of endless gossip. While some of the stories we've explored are based on biographies and backstage accounts, others have grown through decades of Hollywood folklore, making it difficult to separate fact from legend. That mystery is exactly what keeps these classic stars so fascinating even today. Their lives remind us that fame never guaranteed perfection, and even the biggest icons had private sides the public rarely saw. Whether these tales shocked you, surprised you, or simply made you look at old Hollywood differently, they reveal that every legend has another chapter waiting to be uncovered. If you enjoyed this countdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more incredible stories, forgotten secrets, and fascinating mysteries from Hollywood's golden age. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next documentary.